You already know what it is. Lethal Town 24, dive bombing at you with some Eagles content. Yo, so in Eagles news today, the Eagles have released Zack Brown, who not only talked that mess, but looked like a fool doing it. Kirk Cousins not only shredded the defensive backs, but he's also, when they ran the ball, they made Zack Brown look bad. So, I mean, they cut him. Now, I don't necessarily think that they cut him for his speak or for his for whatever he said against or about Kirk Cousins, but I think it was just really about his play. Um, he's caused a lot of penalties, and really just hasn't done much as far as coverage. He did help in the run game, but I mean, are we really going to miss him? That's the thing. And I mean, for the run game, I don't know. I think that I don't know. For me, I think they should have, if they were going to cut him, I think they should have waited until next week, unless Howie has something going on, which at this point, I don't think that. I think he's tried. I just don't think he has anything up his sleeve at this point or at this juncture. If he was going to make a move, he would have made it by now, or at least after the Packers game, because I mean we had plenty of time to get somebody in here and have them go over the playbook and what they need to do and where they need to be as far as as far as the plays go. So I mean, if we were going to bring somebody in here, we would have done it already. And I think, I just don't. I believe it when I see it, basically, because I'm tired of all this. Oh, we might go after, or oh yeah, we're in the running for. I'm done with that. I'm done. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about who we could get, who we should get, who would help this team, blah 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 blah. I mean, because at this point, anybody would help this team. Any solid cornerback would help this team rather than get the guys that we have out there right now. It's just it is frustrating. Losing like that is frustrating, and a lot of people kind of look at it like it's the Saints game of last year where we got blown out and then we had to face the Cowboys next game. Well, even though the Cowboys had lost to the Jets and whatnot, and that was a surprise. I thought they had that game handled, but the Jets came out and played. They're a different team with Sam Darnold, so hats off to the Jets. But I mean, unless I mean they're talking about Amari Cooper. He has a deep thigh bruise, so I mean even Amari Cooper at 50%, it may be too much for Sidney Jones, who's lost his confidence. And he's on Nelson Aguilar. He's our cornerback, but he's got the same thing as Nelson Aguilar. And Corey Underland or whatever, however you pronounce his last name, is not getting through to him. Because the talent, you can see the talent, everything is there, but he gets beaten man, he gets beaten zone. Then there are some people saying that Jim Schwartz admitted to, basically giving them the reins of how far off they need to play. So if these guys are playing far off on purpose because they're afraid of getting beat, that's a problem. There was just no communication whatsoever with the defense yesterday. We have all these other safeties, or we had Cyprian, but now we traded him to the Falcons. We have Sendejo, and we keep moving Jenkins or McLeod down, and instead of just having them in the natural spots. I mean, Jim Schwartz is killing himself. He's killing himself because I mean, if they were doing max protection, if Minnesota was doing max protection, what is basically the common consensus at this point, then at that point you need to play coverage. But Jim Schwartz he's probably thinking, well, if we get beat in the run game, then it's better to get something has to give. You know what I'm saying? Or at this point, like, you gotta take what you can get. However you can stop the offense, you're gonna have to do it. So whether you play the run or the pass, I mean, it's not gonna do you any good to keep doing the same stuff over and over. I mean, and it's good. Like I've seen the tape or rewatch the game, and he was very aggressive, more aggressive than he should have been. So, um, and more aggressive than he usually is. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what these guys are thinking because I know this team can be better. It's just we're not hitting on all cylinders, you know. And these guys showed no fight. And if Zack Brown, I was listening to Philly 500 today too, and he's talking about how he wasn't really inspired that he really didn't want to play in the preseason because they think he thought it was a waste of time. Well, and in some of the videos or interviews that I've watched, most of them feel that way. So what is it like? As the whole team? I don't think it's just Zack Brown. I don't think that's really fair to pin it on him why this team isn't playing inspired. I think, like I said in my last video, where Rasul looked like a disgruntled worker, basically he thought he was going to have help, and he just was like he was frustrated, so he didn't even try. But at the same time, your job is to cover a wide receiver. It doesn't mean you quit. Just because and you can see he just lost his confidence. He lost his confidence, and he was expecting help. He was expecting Jenkins to be back there to help him. And I'm pretty sure these guys at this point is like, you've been in this scheme for 4 years. Why the hell do you need help? Well, that's because you're the safety. That's your job. You're supposed to be the safety net to prevent deep balls like that. So, I mean, like, and then Doug today, he was questioning about the field goal, whatnot, and even he was pissed off about it. He didn't even really want to talk about it. He's like, it didn't work. I'm like, man, if you have to use Jake Elliott to get you 4 yards for a first down, and you don't use Carson Wentz to do it, I mean, you should have just gone for it if that was your plan. You tried to be sneaky, and yeah, it didn't work. Like I said, you were trying to create something special in the stadium we won a Super Bowl, and it backfired on you. That play, even if you saw it on tape, I'd have left that completely alone. If you're going to go for it, go for it. But you had basically, in the way Jake Elliott, and shout out to him, man. Jake Elliott's been killing it this year. He hasn't missed a field goal yet in the regular season. So, I mean, like, at this point, I have more confidence getting the 3 points. We get the ball in the next quarter, in the second half, and then, we go from there. If Alshon Jeffrey, when he catches that ball, and yeah, I agree with a lot of other people too, he doesn't look healthy. Because the Alshon that we're used to seeing doesn't go out of bounds, and he runs that in for a touchdown. I just don't, and the ball was perfectly placed, so I don't understand. Maybe something happened and he just couldn't run anymore, so he went out of bounds, or he really did lose his balance. It looked like he lost his balance, but you never can really tell with these guys at this point. And so Doug is like, a lot of people saying that Doug is guaranteeing to win against Dallas. No, he's saying that he is saying that we're going to go to Dallas and win. That is completely different than guaranteeing a win. Him saying, I guarantee a win, is saying exactly that. Him saying we're going to go to Dallas and we're going to win is instilling confidence in his team that we're going to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, go to Dallas and get that win. Point blank and period. So, I mean, like, I love that. I do love that about Doug. But Doug has to come correct. He has to make sure his game plan is in place. Stop doing any, like, gimmick style plays. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can see you calling, like I said, I can see you calling that in, late in the third quarter or in the fourth, but, not in the second half when we need points. And then it just got out of hand, and or what have you, and it's just I'm still pissed off about that. And at what point does this team really come together? I mean, really. Because a lot of people are saying, well, if Deshaun Jackson was in, which he's not, then we, have more of a chance. Everything will open up. We started slow against the Washington Redskins. We've started slow in almost every game except for maybe the Packers game. And in this game, we actually scored, 17 points in the first half? Right? Okay. So we're getting better, but we're not starting fast enough. So we're not starting fast. And when we start, we start moving along gradually. And then it gets, and then it stifles, And things need to change. This team has to get together. And Doug, with them cutting Zack Brown, and everybody's like, they should have cut a corner and all this stuff. I mean, we're depleted in pretty much the main area is linebacker. We released LJ Fort for whatever reason. Now we're released Zack Brown. And then, so we're handcuffed there because, I'm sorry, but Nick Gary's going to get run over by Ezekiel Elliott. That is what it is. He's not going to be able to tackle him. Oh, man. He's going to be looking like a little kid trying to tackle Ezekiel Elliott. Now, Nate, the thing is about Nick Gary is that he's smart. So hopefully, he can have help. But then you got Nigel Bradham out. Or he possibly out. He's got a foot injury. So, we are climbing an uphill battle right now. And this team is going to have to man up. They're going to have to come together, and they're going to have to beat Dallas. Dallas is going through their stuff too. They're a desperate team, and we are too. I don't care what anybody says. We are a desperate team. And the reason why we're a desperate team is because of all the injuries, all the adversity that we're going through right now. You can't tell me that we're not a desperate team. We have to win this game. Anybody that says this is not a must-win game, I just don't agree with their opinion. Point blank and period. Because if we lose this game, and then we have two baller defenses that we have to go against, which is the Bills and the Bears, right? All right. So if our offense doesn't show up that day, and God forbid, Josh Allen and either Chase Daniel or Mitchell Trubisky goes ham on our defense, which is a possibility, we are going to be in trouble. We could possibly be on a 4-game losing streak. So I don't care what anybody says about we not being desperate. This is not a must-win game. We lose this game. That's 2 in a row. Then we lose 2. We have a possibility to lose 2 more. And we're not losing against Josh Allen. Blah, blah. Look, it's any given Sunday. You saw what the Jets did, right? The Bills aren't 4-1 for. It's not a fluke. They have good stuff going on there. If nothing else, the run game, right? And we can stop the run game. We're really good at stopping the run. We're really good at stopping the run if it's not misdirection. I don't know if anybody's noticed this. Man, he kind of trick plays, and the Jets opened this up, actually. The Jets opened it up with, the fake reverse and then run to the other side, right? So if these guys don't stay disciplined, we're susceptible to that. And then that runs everything else. They could just, do a motion, right receiver comes through, fake the handoff, throw it to the running back. Running back is already on this other side where there's no defenders or maybe 1 or 2 defenders, and then that's at least a first down. So, man, it's frustrating, everyone. It's very frustrating. I don't feel good. I don't feel, and maybe this will change, but right now, I don't feel like we have the advantage in this game. I think I think if I think with their injuries with Dallas Cowboys, we're about evenly matched. But their defense is better than ours at this point. So I mean, we gotta figure out where to go from here. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. EAGLES Eagles, and that's what's up.